Hey all, welcome to Treck. This is our evening live stream. Let me get everything set up and we'll get started. Give me 1 minute. Let me check all the controls out here and see everything is working fine. Yeah, it is. Well, I'll wait for a few of our subscribers to join us and then we'll take it from there. Let's get started. Okay. Hey, hi, welcome. Hello. Yeah, just about to start. Hi, Jesse. Hi, Discover Together. Thanks for giving me company. I was just about to share my thoughts. I thought that rather wait for a few people to join and then get started. Hello. Yeah, so I have a few things on my mind I wanted to share with you guys and then see what you think about it. Actually, I had a conversation with Jesse this morning about this issue. The first item is that if you remember, recently Putin went to Iran and then he met Erdogan out there, and I believe somewhere out there was a arrangement to open a few ports along the Black Sea so that the Ukrainian wheat can be exported, and that agreement seemed to have been signed off. So I'm thinking that at this point of time there will be a relief for wheat prices, but Jesse pointed out that there is going to be a shortage later on. I agree with him 100% because I have read reports that the Russians are bombing the wheat fields in Ukraine as a scorched earth policy. And once it is bombed so badly, then the next season harvest is going to be a bit of a problem. Also, people have been dislocated. A lot of people from Ukraine have left the country as refugees. And it's going to take a little time for them to get everything back in order. But for the time being, at least for this season, we'll have some relief for wheat and we'll see what happens the next season. And I suppose the next season, there'll be a lot of third world countries which are going to suffer a lot with food inflation. It's going to be terrible for them. That's what I'm thinking. Joe. Okay, Discover Together is now called Joe. Okay, Joe. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for joining us. Nice to know your name. So that's what I had as one of the items that I wanted to talk to you about. The second thing I wanted to talk about was that Verizon has dropped after reporting a second weak quarter again, and their outlook is also weak. That also has potentially added to the negative sentiment for today after Snap. But one of the interesting things is that after Snap announced its result yesterday, the share prices fell immediately post-market, and this morning it was down minus 30, I think. And now that Twitter has reported, Twitter had minus 2% pre-market when I checked it. But right now I see that it's positive, and the only explanation I can come up with is that investors probably thought that Twitter is going to be hurt much more terribly because of the Elon Musk and Twitter spat, where Elon was talking about lots of bots being there and also the talk of weaker ad revenue. All those things seem to have made people fear that Twitter is going to do really bad, and probably their results was not as bad as expected, and therefore they are doing a bit positive. I think all the bad news was priced into their share price, and the earnings came as a relief. That's what I think has happened. I'm going to quickly have a look at the Twitter share price right now and see where they are. Let's go to Twitter. Just give me 1 second. I have to become small now. I hope you guys can see everything clearly. I'm going on to Twitter now. Where is Twitter? Twitter is out here. So Twitter has gained 1.24% today. That is around 48 cents. That is quite a remarkable turnaround. It started very low. The last 2 days were doji candles, as you can see here. This is the indecision. These two were indecision. And today also we have smaller wicks, but there is a positive sentiment, I would say, for Twitter. And we still have the support of the 9, 20, and 50-day exponential moving average. So it's looking good. But I think the only explanation I can have for this kind of a phenomenon is that results are better than was feared. What do you guys think? Joe says, I think I think a lot of these ad-focused social media will need to rethink their business model. Yes, I think personally, I think that social media companies have often put their profits ahead of their responsibility. They need to do a little bit of balancing out there and get into a more healthier advertising revenue approach. Twitter deal is still on. Oh, star. Okay. Twitter deal is still on. I think Elon Musk cannot get out of it. He will have to pay either $1 billion plus damages or something else, or he'll have to take it over. I think Jesse says, I bought a little of these today for a swing trade. I think they will bounce up in a few. Hey, Jesse, did you actually go ahead and put calls on PACB, and are they in the money right now? Yeah, Snapchat. Even Jesse told me that he was very interested in Snapchat, but he looked at the fundamentals and decided to hold back. So we generally have to look at the fundamentals also. And swing, I think as the wicks start coming down, you can start looking at swing. No takers on PSCB. Okay, maybe you didn't get the premium. Yeah, that's very sad. That's what generally happens. Many times I try to do the cover call, because in the past I had heard of a lot of people saying they have monthly income from covered calls. It's not possible. And you can also see QYLD, which is a covered call index. It's not doing very well at this point of time. Yeah, I have not been into Snapchat. Actually, doing this YouTube channel itself is a very big move for me. Basically because I have stayed away from social media platforms overall because of privacy concerns. But now I'm slowly relaxing and letting things go. Who knows, one day I might even look at Snapchat. Yeah, as soon as Snapchat goes up, as soon as the PACB goes up, yeah, try to do some calls out there. Hi, Inf, welcome. We have Joe here, we have Jesse here, Star. So there's a small quorum out here. I was talking about some of the thoughts that I had in my mind. So I covered the Ukrainian wheat export thing, the Verizon results, the Snap and Twitter results. The other thing I'm thinking about is the tight labor market and increasing unemployment. These two are very contrary indicators. So I'm thinking, is it possible that a good amount of automation is going on because the industries are very reluctant to increase the wages at the lower end? Therefore, I think probably automation is taking hold. It's a stealth productivity increaser. So I'll have to find out which are the companies that do automation and look at how they are performing in the market, look at their quarterly results. That will give us an indication of what is happening. And even Kathy Woods was saying automation is going to pick up. And her logic seemed to appeal to me quite well. So I think that could be happening at this point of time. Do you guys think automation is taking over? Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was that steel makers are showing a bit of a drop. That means industrial activity is slowing down. But on the other hand, if you look at copper prices, they are recovering. So again, there's a contrary indicator out there. Some experts are saying copper prices were too low for sustaining and therefore they're going up. I really don't know about these commodities. I'm not well versed in commodities. But from an economics point of view, I know that you need steel for construction of infrastructure, for building, for factories, and many capital goods. So if there's a slowdown from the steelmaker side, I definitely think of it as a recession. We'll have to look at this consumer price index and the University of Michigan survey of inflation to see what is happening, because it seems Fed Chief Powell also looks at that a lot. So we might probably get some insight of what is happening out there. Let me quickly see the chat window, what's happening here. Yeah, I don't know enough to say. Okay. So the other item I want to talk about is we are in a situation where we get worried about inflation if indicators fall, and we start worrying about interest rate hike if indicators go up. So it seems like we are in a very, very narrow band of acceptable environment, and we don't get that very often. Every other day it either goes up or down. So it seems to be like a Goldilocks kind of a situation. So the way I am looking at it, Star, for automation, is that out here I am seeing a whole lot of checkouts getting automated. And Home Depot has automated many of its checkout, and there are very few checkout clerks. All the major grocery chains have done that here. And we used to have a lot of manual work in the local transit systems and all. Even that is getting automated to a good extent. So that is consumer level automation that I'm seeing. Over and above this, I think there's a lot of robotics work going on. So factories as it is were automated, but maybe they are stepping up the automation a level up. So automation, in my mind, doesn't just mean robots. It also means where systems that can bypass humans, like if you're going to do everything through a cell phone. For example, you have an app in your cell phone, you put it in your pocket, go into the store and do the shopping. It automatically records everything and charges your account. So that could be automation for me. Branchless banking is automation for me. That's how I'm looking at it. So traditional automation with robotics plus the software automation. Yeah, Jesse, don't worry. It's going to come down because Bitcoin will always mirror NASDAQ until we get into a situation where VIX is below 20, in my opinion. So we'll have to wait patiently. You will get your chance. Now, the other item I wanted to talk to you about is that there is emerging expectations. I have been watching television and watching and reading a few articles here and there, trying to research on what the overall sentiment is. There is a new sentiment developing that seems to think that a 50 basis point hike instead of 75 is also in the cards. So just like last week, we were talking about European Central Bank looking at interest rate hike between 25 basis point and 50, and ultimately they went for 50. So now we have come into a stage where we are talking about 50 basis point and 75 basis point. The Fed may as well do 75 basis point. We won't know until the Fed does what it does. But the 50 basis point talk has come into the conversation, and also after the next hike, other hikes are considered to be at 50 basis point and 25 basis points. So if this is the thinking in the market, then it aligns with our original idea that we are going to have some kind of bottom in the short run, and in the third quarter we'll start building a base for a bullish channel to move up again. So that could as well come true. So we need to keep our fingers crossed and see what happens. Yes, CPI should be bullish catalyst. Yeah. And when we get more tech company earnings, we'll see if valuations need a reset. Apple will report next week. So I'm going to show you a spreadsheet. So if you look at this particular spreadsheet, right, you will see that on 26th, we have got Microsoft Corp reporting, and the EPS estimate is 2.29. If they do equal to or better than that, I think the market is going to reward, and their revenue estimate is 52.397 billion. And then on 26th of July, we'll have Alphabet. They have two classes of shares. It's all the same company. So it's reporting on 26th, and they would have to report at least 1.27 or more per share as EPS, and 69.927 billion as their revenue. If they don't do that, then curtains down. Then on 26th of July, we have Visa Inc. also reporting. with an expected EPS of 1.75 and a revenue of 7.069 billion. If they don't do that, again, it's when it comes to Visa, it may impact more of the financial side, but Microsoft and Alphabet definitely are going to impact all the risk on and tech stocks. Facebook is reporting on the 27th of July, expecting a EPS of 2.55 and a revenue of 28.942 billion. If any of these if they do not meet any of these expectations, then again we are looking at a bearish week. Apple is going to report on 28th. I always trust that Apple is the one that will change the direction of the market. So I'm really happy that they're coming towards the end of the week with their results. They are expected to do an EPS of 1.16 per share and a revenue of 82.692 billion. And it's very interesting to see that Apple has got a bigger revenue than Microsoft, because at one point of time, Microsoft had a much higher revenue, but Apple is a market leader. And Amazon is on top of everybody else, reporting on the 28th again with a 13 cent CPS per share. As you know, Amazon has split its shares. So this is a post-split EPS. And also the revenue is expected to be at 119.176 billion. This is going to be a crucial test. If there has been any kind of consumer withdrawal in spending, that will be reflected here. However, I am heartened by the fact that Amex is looking at a really strong consumer buying trend. And despite the increasing unemployment rate, I am encouraged by the tight labor market and what American Express is saying. Therefore, I am hoping that Amazon should be able to meet our expectations. If all those things happen, then we'll start improving in the market. But when we see improvements in the market, we'll start getting worried about the Fed again. So this is the way the cycle will keep on going until we make a decision on what we really think is happening in the market. So it's an always evolving process. As long as we are in touch with what the market is thinking or the majority is thinking, we'll be in the profit. But that's the most difficult thing in this market, because you have very sophisticated investors, you have medium investors, you have a lot of investors who follow somebody, and then there's a whole bunch of investors who are totally using this place as a gambling den. They just invest at whims and fancy and lose money. So when you take the aggregate of all of these things, it becomes a bit difficult to predict, and that's why the technical analysis also is not 100% most of the time. So let me take stock quickly of what's happening in the chat window. I think with regard to NVIDIA, I think they should bring a regulation that says that people in Congress cannot and their relatives cannot invest in shares, because as it is, they are getting paid well and they got a great deal of responsibility. So yeah, NVIDIA is a very good stock. I'm very bullish on NVIDIA. It has got a lot of hands on genomics. It has the Cambridge project. If you go back into our channel and look at my earlier video, I did a video just on NVIDIA, covering how they are getting into genomics research, and the GPU is now being found to be much more stronger than the regular CPU for most computing. So they are going to do extremely well. Thanks, Jesse. Smash the like button. Yeah. Market cyclicality is the key. Philosophy, yes, that's right. Ben, hi. Thanks for joining. Yeah, there's a very big reason for pressure on genomics. The whole market is down, my friend, basically because of what happened with Snap. And Twitter somehow managed to stay well because things turned out to be much better than expected for Twitter, in my opinion. The investors potentially thought that with the Elon Musk Twitter spat, with all those rumors about so much of bots and the slowdown in ad revenue, it was expected that Twitter will do much worse than what it did. And I am thinking that the results have come in better than what was priced in, and therefore there's a bit of a relief. So that's the reason why Twitter is doing better, even though the rest have gone down. And I also think that because we are on Friday, and many investors would probably want to take money off the table so that they don't sit on the risk during the weekend. And next week, we are going to have all big tech reporting, so it's a big jitters. If any of them reports bad, then things are going to fall down. I was talking about some of these companies which are reporting tomorrow, Microsoft Alpha on Monday. Microsoft, Alphabet, and Visa. If any of them do bad, it's going to be a tough time. So I think people are taking cover. I think nothing specific to the industry, Ben. I don't see anything, but if any of you guys see anything specific, let us share it here, because that's the reason why I created this channel, so that we can all pool our knowledge and intelligence and try to come up with better trades for us. So if you think of anything, just share it with us. So with that said, yeah, let me look at my list of things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Yeah, so the last thing I was saying was that when we get more tech company earnings, we'll see if valuations need a reset. Apple will report next week, and Microsoft, Google, etc. We saw the spreadsheet. We also saw what's the earnings expectation from them. And if any of them, I'm not much worried about Visa, but I'm worried about all the tech companies out here, because they will definitely push the NASDAQ down, and we will then feel the pain in genomics. So that's what I'm thinking. So it's overall macros. Yeah. So now we have around 8 minutes. So if you guys want me to look at any stock or anything, we can do that. Or if you want to discuss some ideas that you have had in your mind, I can chip in with my thoughts on it. Jesse says, I think the whole market will be up come December. It will be volatile until the midterm elections are over, just because of uncertainty. Yes, Jesse, yeah, midterm elections, I think it's in November, right? So that is a bit of blindside for me, because I always knew that there is midterm in November, but somehow I didn't put that in fourth quarter in my thought process. So you are right, there will be volatility. And once the election is over, then I think December should be really good. We have the Santa Claus rally also that happens every December. I was also thinking that I was looking at our charts. Let me show you the charts. 1 second. Let me go into the chart just to show a point that, I mean, I wouldn't call it an epiphany, but so if I was to roll back this thing, right? So somewhere around 24th of March 2020, people must have felt like, this is the end of the world and the shares are just falling off the bottom. Many people would have sold their shares after holding in for a long time when it kept on falling. And then seller capitulation happened, and then it just went up. And then it kept going up, and now it's coming down. We do not know whether we're going to come as low as here, but if we were to wind back further, you'll always see that whatever was the drop in any market peak has always been exceeded. We have never been back to that kind of a bottom before again. We always kept going up. I'm thinking the same thing is going to happen again in future for the market. And this should be the time when we buy really, really strong blue chips. And I would seriously recommend to everyone in the channel that always do a balanced portfolio. Do not put all your money just on genomics. Take the best of genomics, allocate a portion of your portfolio which you are willing to risk. But on the other side, also take some blue chips. And in the blue chips, try to have a slice of energy stocks, slice of infrastructure stock, slice of tech stocks, and so on. That way you have a balanced portfolio. Mine is a relatively balanced portfolio. I just have 10% in genomics at this point of time, at the most, I think, and including the money I have kept aside for it in cash. So I won't be exceeding that in the short term. But as time goes by and we get a FDA approval or two, my investments will increase. So there is always a fear of missing out. And at the same time, there is the risk of losing money when a sector is too young. So we need to balance both of that. We can still stay bullish about genomics and still be responsible about how much money we put in there. Because at the end of the day, those of us who are married have to definitely answer to the better half and say and explain at the end of the year while doing taxes why we have all the red that we see in the portfolio. So, so you have to be very careful out there. So with that said, let me see what's there on the chat window. Okay, guys, yeah. Let's go on. It's 3:55. let me walk you through some of my my portfolio, the things that I have in my portfolio. The only genomic play Joe is confident about is CRISPR. CRISPR, I'm also getting increasingly confident on Verve and Beam because they have base editing, and I think they are also very close to FDA approval for their Verve 101. They are inching closer. They already have in human trials. So I think it will come. PACB, yes, PACB. I'm bullish on PACB, Illumina, Oxford Nanopore, these companies because they are secular in my mind. As the genomic sector picks up, all of these companies are going to have just imagine PC companies. PC companies were selling computers to all the sectors, whether it was hospitality, whether it was manufacturing or whatever. Everywhere the PCs went. The same way in the entire genomic sector, everywhere these sequencing machines are going to go, the consumables are going to be consumed. And as the market cap goes up, there'll be more capability for these companies to pay for these hardware and services. So margins are going to go up. I think they are going to do very well. CRISPR, DNA, Caribou Biosciences, Illumina, PACB, and Verve. Nice, Jesse. Verve is doing well. I think you could also do calls on Verve if you have the nerve. Yeah. Caribou, I have a little bit of worries about Caribou Biosciences. I think it is the one Jennifer Doudna has founded, right? And I think they have all the CRISPR IP in Europe, but we still have the federal court verdict to come in US. I think also the patent expires in 10 years, right? And then it's going to become generic. Everybody can use. So Caribou Biosciences have to actually deliver something from their pipeline. That's my thought process. Am I mistaken, or is that the business case there? DocuSign is going to do well, my friend. I think DocuSign and Authentisign, those companies will do well. In the real estate sector out here, we have totally adopted remote signing. So I have clients who are abroad who are leasing place here or doing something like that, or clients coming in from Vancouver who are buying a home here. Everything happens through electronic signatures. Earlier, we had to go and get this done in person, go to the client's home and all that. It's all think of the past. So they are going to be here for a while. There'll definitely be some value in there. Yeah, there are hundreds of companies offering remote signing, but I think Authentisign and DocuSign are two of the front runners in them. Yes, we'll have to. Yeah, you're right in thinking the way you do. You are absolutely right. But we'll have to see how, when the shakeout happens, how many of them survive. So we have to look at their collaborations, the tie-ups they have. Authentisign has definitely got in with the Toronto Real Estate Board, and there are lots of real estate agents using it, and they just do annual subscriptions, and we can get as many signatures as we want. It makes life so easy. So once you get into being a subscriber for these kind of digital signing products, you definitely don't want to go physically to somebody for a signature. Very, very easy. And also the purchase and sale agreements that we used to have earlier with manual signature, they were so messy that sometimes we had to make a brand new copy after the deal is done and get everybody to sign it and prove to them that it's the exact copy of the original that was signed back many times. But now everything is absolutely clean copies, so really like that. Yes, real estate in many places which are really hot is going to go down. There won't be a crash except for some few markets, but yeah. Thanks, Joe. Let's go and have a look at the market. The market has come to a close. Let us see what's happening in the market. And let us start off with the futures, because that's where we'll see what's going to happen coming down the pike. So the futures for NASDAQ are negative 1.96%. Doesn't look good. But we still have all the supports here, my friends. We got this diagonal line of support. So we are still in a bull channel, in my opinion. We have support of the 20-day exponential moving average, which is properly positioned below the 9-day exponential moving average. And we have the 50-day exponential moving average, all of them giving support to the NASDAQ futures. So I'm still bullish. The only reason I would be worried about is that the momentum is starting to falter, but still it's above average. So I'm okay with it. We'll see what happens on Monday. We have got all those big companies reporting. I trust Microsoft will deliver for us and set us up in a good mood for the week, for next week. Now let's go on to the indicators. And friends, I wouldn't be able to see the chat while I'm doing this. So please bear with me. I'll periodically check the chat window and answer you. I'm not ignoring you. Let us start off with US oil. US oil has gone down again further, and it's pierced below our support line of 95.08 for the fourth time this week. And I'm hoping that it continues to fall down and comes down to test 91.70 next week. That is my hope, because demand destruction is happening across the board. Recession fears are around, and steel makers are saying that their demand is dropping. So overall indications are that oil is going to go weak. And also the traveling season probably is going to find a bit of a relief. Next, we look at the MACD out here, which is also bearish, and momentum is also dropping. Both of these things convince me that we are going to see further drops in oil prices. Let's go to QQQ, down minus 1.75%. This resistance at 306.53, yesterday we converted it back into support. We had to convert it back into resistance. We are back down, but we still have support from the 20-day, 9-day, and the 50-day exponential moving average. We are still on step 1 bullish formation because 9-day is above the 20-day exponential moving average. MACD is bullish. Again, the concern here is that the momentum has dropped suddenly, but still it's above average. So I'll give it a chance for Monday. SPY, S&P 500 down minus 0.92%. Post-market, it is down minus 0.08. Has support from the 50-day exponential moving average, 9 and 20-day, and still on a bullish channel. And if you look at QQQ, post-market, it's down minus 0.01, which is a very small fraction at this point of time. Russell's has gone down significantly today, 1.59%. Post-market down minus 0.10%. But it still has support from this diagonal line of resistance from earlier, which has now become a support. So I'm confident that we should be able to stay above that. We have the support from the 50-day exponential moving average, 9 and 20-day exponential moving average. Plus, we have a minor support here at 177.23. So Russell has got a lot of supports out here to prevent further fall. I forgot to see the MACD is bullish, but again, momentum is the issue. Dow Jones Industrial Average down 0.4%, and excuse me. And post-market, it's down minus 0.13%. We have support from the 50-day exponential moving average, 9-day and the 20-day, and also the horizontal support at 312.49. Again, momentum is a problem. So my friends, I am thinking that people have taken money off the table for the weekend. They are going to come back again on Monday when Microsoft reports good results. That's my bet. I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that. Let's go to the VIX. VIX has dropped, and you can see VIX is a doji candle. The market is in indecision right now. It dropped down below the support of 22.73 and bounced back up again. I'm just going to mark some of these lines as resistance because I haven't touched this chart in a while. Please bear with me while I do that. So our next objective is to fall below this line of support at 22.73, and I think it's going to happen because MACD is bearish and momentum is also falling. And put call ratio has gone into the bearish side. It's at 1.06. So that doesn't sound good. And that's the reason why the market is also down. This is more of a contemporary signal because it doesn't help us much, but I just like to see it as something in the rear view mirror. XLY by XLP can show that we are risk off. Therefore, the genomics is also down. US dollar index is falling down. There is a doji candle out here. It tried to pierce this resistance but couldn't manage because it was very strong resistance coupled with the 9-day and the 20-day exponential moving average. So very strong resistance, so it has come down. So it's a doji candle. We'll have to see tomorrow what happens. I still bet that it's going to go down further because some market participants are reporting that people have got comfortable with the fact that the interest rate is higher, and they got an equilibrium kind of thought. Psychologically, they are okay with that. Therefore, US dollar index is not going to spurt much anymore anytime soon. That's what they are saying. But nobody knows for sure what will happen in the market. Now, I just want to have a quick look at the technology sector and look at Twitter. So Twitter is still positive 0.81. It closed positive 0.81, and post-market it's gone up another 0.13%. So let us see tomorrow what the pundits say, whether they say the same thing that I have said or something else. We'll get to learn something new. I'm going back into the genomics, because that's what we are here for. We are all genomics people. And where is my genomics index? Yeah, it's at the very top. I'm going to just sort this out so that we have the top losers at the top. So DNA has lost the maximum today. Let me quickly go to the chat window and see what's happening out there. Vermont real estate to plan for climate change. My friend, I just discovered that it's going to take me at least 12 years before I can get a green card. So either I have to be a snowbird or I have to go somewhere else. So we'll see. Canada is still beautiful. And I think with climate change, Canada is going to be a tropical paradise. So if people are moving to Vermont, then we are just across the lake. So we should be fine. So that's what I'm thinking. Jesse says, don't plan on buying beach property. Yeah, I know. The sea, I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen to Mar-a-Lago, because Trump had the chance to do a lot of things for the climate, but he didn't do it. No seafront property for me, no beach property for me. Yeah. The trend of people near water, wildfire, etc. is already showing migration here. Yes. You are a little between on Microsoft earnings. One way to look at it is going to be to look at the tech sector earnings. So guys, I'm going to briefly take a detour. I'm going to show you a sneak preview of another video that I'm planning, but I'm going to share some data with you from there. Okay. So give me 1 second. Let me go into my spreadsheet. Oh, that spreadsheet is not there. I'll talk about that later. Let me go back again. Okay. So when it comes to Microsoft, my thought was that there are a lot of tech companies that have laid off people, and there are many tech companies that have curtailed recruitment. And I think there are a lot of non-tech companies also which have done that. And at the same time, there is a lot of people still working from home. And with the Microsoft suite of products, which is based on cloud, I think their recurring revenue with subscriptions is going to continue. And many companies do not, I suspect many companies do not closely follow the subscription renewal. It goes on autopilot. And many people, when they buy computers, they do not remove the license from there, and they get automatic renewed. So I think Microsoft revenue is very sticky. That's my personal opinion. We'll see on Monday what happens. Hope that makes you feel a little better, Joe. With that said, I want to go again back into the genomics and continue with my analysis. I'm going to take myself off the video for a second and just focus on the chart so that you have a much clearer picture, because I find my image out there to be distracting for me. Give me 1 second. Okay, so here we go. Now let's look at DNA. So DNA we already checked out. MACD is bearish and momentum is just about average. I think DNA is looking for a little bit of a troubled time. Let us see if there is any news out here. Ginkgo Bioworks, that was 4 days ago, launched a cell programming project with Sumitomo, chemical targeting, personal care, cosmetics, etc. That's a positive news. I don't know why people can forget that so soon. DNA is a great company. I think it's the overall market sentiment which is probably causing so much of negativity in the genomics sector. Let's look at Beam. Beam, I think, is still a strong chart. It had risen very steeply, so don't get worried about this immediate, this big drop right now, I would say. Of course, none of this is financial advice, my friends. Always please put your own logic and do things only if you feel convinced. I am thinking that we are still on a solid bull channel. We have not even touched this channel. And we are so far away from our 9-day exponential moving average that there should be a reverting back to mean in order for a share price to be healthy. So this is all reverting back to the mean, and it's being assisted by the negative market sentiment. That's what I'm thinking. Beam is still good in my books. It's above the 200-day exponential moving average, and the 9-day has gone above the 200-day. So it's gone into level 3 of a stable bull channel, in my opinion. So it looks good to me. Bluebird, we are having a drop of around 7.29% here today. MACD is bearish. Momentum also has come just up to average. Post-market, it's up 2.62%. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But it's gone out of this bull channel. So I'm going to just take this out from here, and I'm going to try a new bull channel out here, which will have 3 touch points. So I got 1, 2, 3 touch points here. I'm going to mark this green, and I'll keep this here and see what happens tomorrow. So according to me now, we have this diagonal line of support out here. We got the horizontal line of support, which kind of held back. This is a minor support we have here from before at 4.53, and it has held back the falling price here for Bluebird. And along with that, we have the diagonal line of support also, which is a very strong support, and the 50-day exponential moving average. So there is strong support for Bluebird, and it should sustain itself. Post-market, we are already seeing some strength. Hope that Monday, Microsoft does a good deed and everyone comes out well. Allogene is down minus 7.03%, again supported by the 200-day exponential moving average. We are still in a solid bull channel. I'm not too much worried about it right now. And our MACD is also bullish, but momentum, which was overbought, came down. I think the market sentiment plus the overbought nature were acted upon for this big fall that we had today of 7%. But basically, these shares are volatile, and we still have the bull channel which is supporting us. So let's go on to PACB. I'm really surprised at how PACB lost everything that it gained, 6.88%. I think it's the earnings jitter. The earnings are due on the 3rd of August. There could be earnings jitter, so we can potentially see PACB coming down to test the 3.97 support before going up further. And all of those consolidation should happen close to the earnings week. Now let us look at a weekly chart, just out of curiosity. Let us look at a weekly chart out here. So what does the week look like? So if you see, the week is forming a doji candle. So there is indecision out there. I think the indecision is because of the earnings. So with that said, let me go back to the 1-day candle. So today we got support from this minor support, which is at 4.49, and we have stayed at 4.47. So we have been straddling that support out there. We broke down below the 20-day and the 9-day exponential moving average. The chart is looking weak for PACB. We'll hope for the best on Monday. Invite is down minus 6.81%. And again, it has touched the support at 2.15. It is sitting at 2.19. We still have that support there. MACD is weak, and the momentum is also weak. Post-market, we are down minus 0.31%. So the chart is definitely looking weak at this point of time for Invite. Verve is still a very, very strong chart out here. We have got a resistance, which is at 33.69, which perfectly pushed down the price action today. And we have come very close to the support, which is at 29.72, and we bounce back up again. We also have the support of the 200-day, 9-day, 20-day, 100-day, and 50-day exponential moving average. So the chart is looking great for me. And I also attribute this fall to market sentiment along with the overbought nature. If you look at this area, we were overbought for quite a while. We were overbought on the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 18th, and all the way up to now. And today we have come back into the civilization zone below 70%. We are at around 67.76. So we are cooling off a little bit. Tomorrow we should do better. Verve is a strong stock in my opinion. Editas, 6.45% drop today, and is expertly supported by the 9-day and the 100-day exponential moving average. It has got resistance at 18.20. And we have a bullish MACD. but our momentum is falling, but we are still above average in the momentum department. So I'm happy with that. I think we are still on a bullish channel. So I'd hold out for edit to continue performing well, because I think base editing is a superior game, and editors will soon be able to get more revenues due to base editing. That's my personal opinion again. SQZ, unfortunately for me, my SQZ has gone below my purchase price, and I'm really sad. So I picked this particular share after looking at everything, given my small budget. It didn't work out. So I'd be real, I'll tell you that my call was not good. So I'm learning. Next, let's look at Teladoc, 5.68% down. And we have a gap to be filled up. And I think we are still resting on this diagonal line of support. So if for a moment, if I just took away this gap from here, right? So you can see that we just touched the support here, the diagonal line of support. And then we also got support from the 9-day exponential moving average, and we held on at 41.18. So overall, after post-market, there is no trades at this point of time. I think Teladoc should be straddling this line of support. It has come very close. MACD is bullish, but momentum has fallen, but still momentum is above average. As long as momentum is above average, I still give it a chance of recovering. Everything will depend on how tech companies report next week. ARCG, again, we broke through this pennant, and the pennant has become a support. Now the resistance of the pennant has become the support right now. I'm going to convert this into a green line. I'm going to remove this pennant from here. I'm going to convert this into a green line out here. So we have got support here, and we also tested the support at 36.91, which we had at 36.91. We ended the day at 36.80. So that support line can be a little bit plus or minus. So I think the technical analysis is still working for this chart. I think ARCG is still on a bullish track until it breaks down this diagonal line. Till that time, I'm going to hold on to a bullish bias for ARCG. So with that said, let us look at CRISPR Therapeutics, down minus 5.17%. CRISPR is still looking good. CRISPR chart always reminds me of the way Vertex chart looks like. There are two bull channels. It's doing good so far, in my opinion. It's still above the 200-day exponential moving average and the 20-day exponential moving average. Unfortunately, we are dropped below support we had at 79.51, which I'm going to mark as a resistance. And we also dropped below the 9-day exponential moving average. So it's the first major weakness that we have seen in a while for CRISPR Therapeutics, because it has fallen below the 9-day exponential moving average. I'll watch this space carefully, because the MACD is also looking bearish at this point of time, and the momentum is falling, but still above average. Post-market, there is no trades. I think this is the overall market sentiment that is impacting CRISPR Therapeutics. I'm hoping that as long as we don't cross this diagonal line of support, I would say that we are still in a bullish market for CRISPR Therapeutics. Caribou Biosciences down minus 4.91%. Again, it has touched the diagonal line of support and it's bounced back, and it's still respecting the resistance at 8.25. It still has got to fill up the gap out there. I'm watching for that. MACD is still bullish. Momentum is still above average. And post-market, we are up 0.53%. So Caribou Biosciences is still on a bullish channel. In all cases, wherever I've drawn a bull channel, if the price goes down below that, then I'll classify that as bearish. Till such time, I'm going to consider it as bullish channel. Intelia is down minus 4.70%, and today, and post-market, it's flat. It has got support from the 9-day exponential moving average, and it just bounced off the 9-day exponential moving average. And also the diagonal line of support is still active. Again, it's still in a bull market, I would say. And then this MACD is still bullish, but tending towards the signal line. Momentum has dropped a little bit, but it's still way above average. So I'm holding out hope that Intelia is still on a bull track. IDNA has fallen below this line of support, and its MACD is converging towards the signal line, and momentum is still above average. I'll hold my opinion on whether it is pierced this bull channel when I see the action of the market tomorrow. On Monday. And then I'll make a call. For now, I'll keep it as a bull channel, and I'll say that I'm not sure where IDNA is going. But given the fact that most of the biotech companies are doing overall well, I think that IDNA should still continue to remain on the bullish track. And if you look at Illumina, Illumina is down minus 2.57%. at the end of the day, and post market there is no trades out there. And it has got very strong support at this minor line of support at 197.15, because it is converging with the 9-day and the 20-day exponential moving average. So let me see where this line is. This is at 196.17. So that's where the 9-day, 20-day and the horizontal line of support are converging. So there is very strong support here for Illumina. So it should do well. MACD is bullish and momentum is still above average, even though it's coming close to average. We'll see on Monday what happens there. I'm going to skip region run, but I just want to show you this evening star formation. This formation that we see here, where we have a green candle out here, then the next day we started higher and then we came down and then we bounced back up again. And then this next candle out here, which is a green candle, which is showing we opened lower, went up and came back again. So it's showing an action of evening star pattern. Evening star always comes up before a downturn. So I think there is going to be a little bit of downturn for region run. How severe it's going to be, I don't know, but there's going to be a little bit of downturn out there. Let go of Vertex. This is what I was talking about when I spoke of CRISPR Therapeutics. You see there is one bull channel, then it came down, then it followed another bull channel. That's exactly what CRISPR Therapeutics has done. That's where I draw the comparison, but I am not going to look at Vertex. Going into IMTX. IMTX has a very, very steep rise. So it naturally has got to give up some. And it did very well today, opened up lower than where it was yesterday, but went up further and then came back down again and closed very close to yesterday's closing. It was just down minus, I think it was just down minus 0.19%. So this is pretty good performance in my books. It has got support from all the exponential moving average and also support at 9.65. MACD is bullish. And the reason why it is going to be a bit slow out here is because it's in the overbought territory. So on Monday, we have to expect a bit of cooling, or maybe it will spend a few days on the overbought side before cooling down. Those are the two possibilities for IMTX. Novartis, I'm going to skip, and I'm going to go for Pfizer. That's also a big pharma, so I'm going to skip that. So my friends, that brings me to an end of this particular session. And I'm going to come back into the screen, and here I am, and I'm going to have a quick look at the chat window. What is happening out here? The trend of people near water. I agree. I'm a little between Microsoft, QQQ. Joe, you make me laugh. I like QQQ and I have bought it in the past for trading. Joe, take it easy, love. Anthony says, rough day, but when I was up 80% a month, I can't really complain. Anthony, I really envy you because my portfolio is down almost 20%. We knew we got a bit too hot. Now we are above the moving averages. Yeah, we are above the moving averages. That's the biggest point, Anthony. You hit the nail on the spot. We should be having a little bit of a light-hearted thing. So I'm a Teladoc hater. I like ARC stuff now, etc. Great job, Raj. Thanks. Thanks, Jesse. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, guys. So I think I'll bring this session to an end right now. Thanks for joining me. It was a wonderful session. It's around 4:24. Unless someone wants to talk about any particular stock, you have any questions which I can try to answer. I don't claim to have all the answers with me. If I can do that, then I will do it. Otherwise, we are calling this for end of the day. The stock's worth money, but the laughter and friendship priceless. Yes, indeed, Joe. That's right. That's part of this YouTube community, right? I found that after I started this YouTube channel and having communications with all you guys, it's really wonderful. It makes the day. Even if the market is bad or anything, it's the camaraderie that we have when we chat with each other. And we all know that we are all in the same boat and we get inputs from each other. That kind of makes you feel that all is good with the world and we are all fine. Yeah. Yeah, worth the money. Yes, guys. Okay, then I'll bid you farewell. Enjoy the weekend. I'm going to be hard at work trying to get out a few videos out for the weekend. I'm behind my schedule. I've got to work a lot harder. Maybe I'll work a little late tonight and have something out for tomorrow morning. Take care, guys. Bye for now. Stay safe.